So many young, beautiful, innocent people living and enjoying their lives murdered by evil losers in life. I won't call them monsters because they would like that term. They would think that's a great name.
So the President of the United States referring to those perpetrating the attack in England as losers. We know of one individual behind it, might have had accomplices. To European Parliament Member Daniel Hannan, what he thinks of that characterization. What do you think, Dan?
I couldn't agree more. It's really important to get the vocabulary right here. These guys want to see themselves as soldiers in some illicit cause. A monster is a thing of fear. That's how they want us to see them. And they are losers. I mean, we don't yet know much about the individual who's been identified here, but the general pattern of a lot of these jihadi murderers is that they've had problems with drink and drugs, they've not had girlfriends, they've been in and out of prison. They are losers in life. And they are losing in the literal sense that Islamic State is giving up territory and that the terrorists are being rejected. So don't take them at their own estimate. Mock them, despise them, treat them as the debased criminals that they are.
Daniel, what did you make of the fact that a city like this was targeted and not major metropolitan area? I'm not minimizing that, but that not a London, not a Paris, not a Brussels, and that might be a whole new game, a whole new strategy here?
I mean, this really is the softest of soft targets. Just for a moment, think about what happened. I mean, I know this is difficult to hold in your mind, but actually just picture what took place. That you've got teenage girls, preteen girls, looking forward for weeks to a concert, Snapchatting each other, what are we going to wear, arranging where to meet for pizza, trotting away from their parents excitedly, and then ending up being lacerated by nail bombs and shrapnel. I mean, and I'm sorry to have to say that, believe me, I know it wasn't fun to listen to, and it wasn't fun to say either. But it's important to understand what kind of mindset we're dealing with, that somebody reacts to a room full of kids holding pink balloons with such nihilistic hatred that they want to kill themselves and others in that room. We are dealing with evil losers here. But I think we can't live our lives on the basis of trying to have security around every sports ground, every concert. That would just be impossible.
Do you think that now, I mean, I guess Theresa May had indicated that there'll be no campaigning for the foreseeable future, I guess, at least a couple of days, maybe a week. But the election is still on June 8th, I believe. Does this change the equation, or Britain's used to, sadly, one terror incident after another, not nearly as much as what's gone on in Paris and in Belgium, but enough. And they're just exhausted by this.
I mean, it's too early, really, to get into the politics of it. Anyone is going to respond, any human being, to what's just happened with sympathy for the victims. If you have kids, you're going to be hugging them a little bit tighter.
Well, I guess what I'm asking, I'm sorry, wasn't clear, Daniel, is there a sense that governments across are just always responding too late, and that's an issue, regardless of who's in charge?
No, it's a fair question, Neil. I mean, actually, I think we shouldn't get this out of proportion. This is a horrible, terrible attack, a monstrous atrocity. But we haven't seen an attack on this scale since 2005. There have been a grand total of 4 terrorist attacks which have ended in fatalities between the London tube bombings and now. So this is not something, I mean, we lived with a much higher level of political violence in the 70s and the 80s when the IRA was active in Northern Ireland and in Great Britain.
Right.
But in terms of the politics, look, it's right that we suspend for a day. No one wants to be having arguments about politics on a day like this. But it would be wrong to suspend the campaign, because that really would be changing our lives as a result of an act of violence. Democracy, parliamentary representation, freedom for everyone to express their point of view, that's the way of life that these losers hate so much.
Daniel Hannan, thank you very, very much.